Thanks to you.
Well, Mavi, there are people who are so wonderful that they are able to react to situations in ways that put the rest of us, mere mortals, to shame. These are people whose values, principles, and character challenge the rest of us to be better. And Mahatma Gandhi, the man whose values and ethics inspired movements for freedom and civil rights worldwide, is one of such people. The story is told of Gandhi getting on board a train one day and having one of his shoes slip off and land on the track. The train was picking up speed, and so he could not get down to retrieve the shoe. To the amazement of his companions, Gandhi calmly took off his other shoe and threw it back along the track to land as close as possible to the one that had slipped off. His shocked friends asked him why he threw the other half of the pair after the one that he had already lost. Gandhi smiled and said, quote, "The poor man who finds the shoes lying on the track will now have a pair he can use," end of quote. When I read the story, I, like his friends, was amazed. If I lost one of my shoes, there's no way it would occur to me to make the other one also available for whoever might find the missing one. The half pair of shoes would not do me any good, but I will not be thinking of the person who may stumble upon the missing half pair. But for Gandhi, this gesture came naturally. It makes me ask myself, how did God create some people so wonderfully that they just know the best thing to do or say in almost every situation? I was raised on a spiritual diet of the works of the Chinese Christian leader, Watchman Nee. At a certain point in my Christian life, it was the writings of Watchman Nee that built me up and influenced me. Now, in one of his books, Watchman Nee recounts how one of the key church leaders he had raised conspired against him and managed to get him fired from his own church, the church he had founded, and the man took over. Many of those who knew what was going on asked Watchman Nee to take the man to court to reclaim his church and to let him pay for what he had done. Watchman Nee refused to pursue the case. He said, quote, "If I go to court to prove that my brother is wrong, I have achieved nothing. We belong to one body, and so if my brother is wrong, I am also wrong. Let him take the church," end of quote. Now, I have not founded any church, but if I had, and a leader I have raised rises up against me to steal the church from me, there's no way I'll be calm about it. As for court, we'll go. And of course, I would also fight it in the media as well. But Watchman Nee, knowing that the man was wrong, decided that he would rather suffer the injustice than go to war against him. Again, it makes me ask, how at all did God create some people that they can be so noble when they need to be? When Tyler Perry was promoting his movie, Why Did I Get Married?, he appeared on the Oprah show with two of the cast members and talked, among other things, about his childhood and about his parents, about his wonderful mother and his abusive, hard-drinking, and insensitive father. He told the following story about something that happened between his parents to illustrate his point. Tyler's mother suffered from complications from diabetes, and for a few months, she lost her eyesight. She needed to make regular trips to the hospital for treatment, and she had to depend on her husband to drive her to the hospital. But her husband, being the kind of man he was, would drive her to the junction to the hospital and leave her there and drive away. So the poor woman would have to depend on the kindness of passers-by to help her get into the hospital. This went on for weeks. Eventually, the woman regained a little of her eyesight. Just at the time she was recovering, her husband was burning some junk in the backyard of their house. Unknowing to him, inside the junk was an old battery and it exploded in the fire, and the acid from it got into his eyes and blinded him. Now it was his turn to need help. At that point, Tyler told his mother, quote, "This is your chance to show him. This is your chance to pay him in kind. Let him suffer what he put you through," end of quote. The woman shook her head and said to her son, quote, "I will not allow your father to change me," end of quote. And then she went on to help the man until he regained his sight. There is a scene in the musical Les Miserables, that is etched forever on my mind. It is a scene involving Jean Valjean and the Bishop Myriel, the Bishop of Digne in the southeastern France. Valjean, fresh out of prison, shows up at the bishop's door asking for a place to stay the night. The bishop graciously accepts the ex-convict, feeds him, and gives him a bed. In the night, while the bishop slept, Valjean stole most of the bishop's silver and bolted. The police found Valjean with a knapsack of silver, and knowing his background, arrested him and took him back to the bishop. The bishop, knowing that Valjean just came out of prison, did not want to send him back there. And so he told the police that he had given the items to Valjean as gifts. And in the presence of the police, said to Valjean, "Oh, my brother, you forgot to take the candlesticks with you as well." End of quote. And he added the silver candlesticks to what Valjean had already stolen and sent him on his way with the advice that he should use whatever he got from selling the items to turn his life around. The remarkable thing is that this bishop character was based on the actual Bishop of Digne at the time Victor Hugo wrote his novel on which the musical is based. And this bishop was the inspiration for the fictional character. Think about it. If someone stole from me, and by the grace of God, the police arrested him and asked me to confirm that he has stolen from me, there's no way I'm going to try to save that thief. I watched the video of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock on the biggest stage possible. The slap is now referred to as a slap that was heard around the world. And Chris Rock did not hit back, but went on to coolly discharge his duty for the evening as if nothing had happened. And that's why this morning I'm asking, how at all does God create some people that they can be so wonderful? And I pray that we may all allow ourselves to be influenced by the best among us. We can be better. So let's try to be. And this has been Uncle Ebo White with Food for Thought. And if you want to follow me beyond this presentation, please join me on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at Uncle Ebo White, and on Instagram at the Uncle Ebo White. And remember, my 50th play in 14 years runs at the National Theatre on the 3rd, 4th, 10th, and 11th of September. Come and join me celebrate the goodness of God. And the details for the production would be on this network. And Mama V,
yes,
that is my
Uncle.
presentation for this morning.
Well, thank you very much. I want to be better like what you've described, so that someday someone would also say, how does God create some people?
So wonderfully that they just shine among us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
That's the objective.
Well, you're already on the way. So
you're so kind.
You're already on the way.
Thank you very much, Uncle Ebo White.
All right.
Have a good one. And Uncle Ebo White did rightly mention his 50th place coming up at the National Theatre, 3rd, 4th, 10th, and 11th of September, 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. Early bird ticket for only 80 Ghana cedis instead of the usual 100 Ghana cedis. So I want you to take advantage of it. Dial *365# on all networks. Select option 6. Enter terminal ID 30304668894 and follow the prompt, or you can scan the QR code for Riverman Productions on your bank app. Enter amount 80 or multiples of that depending on the number of tickets